Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol. Jai.
So first of all, thank you. Thank you to all of you. Since you are here, time is very important and you are donating the time to the most precious thing in the service of Lord, right? So you are giving us your time. Thanks for that. One more time, a big Hari Bol to all of you. So Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And today we are fortunate. Let me try to avoid any mistake. I have written little bit. Sorry, bro. If I do any mistake, please correct me. So today we are going to hear from Prabhuji, Jaya Krishna Prabhuji. We know him. He is, as of now, presently, he is Temple President of ISKCON Vrindaban, from West Virginia. Normally, how many times a year we go there? Twice? Really? So we try our best to go there 2 times a year, Prabhu. Little bit means sometimes 3 also, but bare minimum 2 times we try our best to be there. And we always see you in the morning, every day. Whenever we are there, you are always there. In the morning program, definitely we see you. And we all know that whenever we are in any need or any concern or any issue or any help, any support, Prabhuji is always there. Prabhuji is our 911. That's what. So Jaya Krishna Prabhuji introduced to Krishna consciousness in 2002 back there in Switzerland. He is from Switzerland, and he was introduced there to Krishna consciousness 2002. After 25 years of a business lead position in this material world, and after that he introduced to Krishna consciousness. 7 years he was a director of Bhaktivedanta College there in Belgium. So he served with the capacity of director over there. And presently we know that I just tried my best to introduce him. I'm a little bit tiny. I'll request Prabhuji to introduce yourself. And pardon me if I commit any mistake, Prabhu. And as of now, he is the part of a GBC also, governing body commission here in ISKCON. So he is working as with the capacity of supervisor over there, managing a complete zone. Okay, and today he is here. And Shri Bhakti, yeah, and primary job we know him. One is that temple president. On the top of that, for people like us, fallen souls, he is trying his best to spread Krishna consciousness, so that he is here to introduce us a little bit about Krishna, and so that we can make little progress over there. And his Guru Maharaj's name, obviously, that I would like to big Haribol and Jai for Param Pujya, His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj. Sachinandan Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Sachinandan Swami Maharaj ki Sachinandan Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Krishna Prabhuji ki Jai. So Prabhuji, I'll hand over this to you. And please correct me if I did any mistake. You have all rights. And let me put that. Yes. Sorry. Kartal. Okay. We can be ready with that. If we need, we can. Whatever.
And I know, of course, that all of you have wonderful jobs. You have a complete other level of income. Because I told, actually, the one son who came with me, we use this software Placer to see how many people are coming to New Vrindaban, okay? And they, based on mobile data, they tell us how many people came, what they do before they come to us, what they do afterwards, where they come from, and what is the income level. Huh? And the income level of our visitor is so much higher than anywhere else in West Virginia, based, of course, on the Indian population in US. They have all good jobs, they are intelligent, and they have another level. And they can see also the impact here. Okay, so let's start with Jaya Mahārāja. Yeah? By the way, do we have any newcomers today? Anybody is here the first time? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunji Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Chana Ballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopichana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai. Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavani Vaskatire Shataine. So I said before, I'm very happy to be here among you. You know, somehow by Krishna's arrangement, I had to go to Cincinnati, and as another New Vrindaban devotee had planned to come here, it was just natural that I take the opportunity to come and be among you tonight, you know. So I first wanted to speak about two incidents last week, which are still on top of my memory, and I'm still trying to actually, what is the right word to say, transform them or actually assimilate them, you know. So one was, of course, Nṛsiṁha Chaturdaśī on Thursday, okay? In New Vrindaban, we had the 40th anniversary of the installation of Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva, okay? And we had the Prahlāda disciple there from Alachua. His name is Soma Prabhu. He was actually sculpting Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva, okay? And he was telling us, of course, stories about how he got the inspiration, how he felt that the Lord really wanted to appear, and how he had inspiration how to actually carve the Lord. But the big attraction was that normally when we have Nṛsiṁha Chaturdaśī, we have Chota deities, and we do Abhishek for a small Nṛsiṁhadeva, but on the anniversary, we have been actually doing Abhishek for the big deity. Yeah? And it was such an incredible event, you know. We had about 35 to 40 devotees, second initiated devotees, who could come on the altar and actually do Abhishek. And you know, the first starting with oil and smear the oil all over the Lord's body, you know, from his lion head, you know, his you know, hairs, you know, then down to his forearms and down to his legs, you know, and then this white pulp, you know, completely covering him in this white pulp. And then, of course, coming back and and starting with you know, with milk and ghee and honey and juices and water, and finally with coconut water, you know. It was for everybody such an incredible experience, you know. And you felt the atmosphere in the temple room was so special, you know. Great Kirtan during the sing, new garlands every 2 minutes, you know. Long garlands for Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva and specific garlands for Prahlāda Mahārāja. So it created this very special atmosphere. I'm still imbibed by this mood. On the other hand, there was a second event which was sad on one hand and very happy on the other hand. You may have heard that Agnidev Prabhu, a Prabhupada disciple, left his body. He was the master of actually bhajans. He would sing all these bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and many others. He knew them all, and he imbibed so the mood of the text of these different bhajans when he was singing. We had him in New Vrindaban, and we had a big kirtan in Pittsburgh for about 10 days, a month ago, you know, okay? So he had a stroke. Actually, he was living in the southern part of Utah. Help me, the temple name, I can just not say it. Okay, where Charu actually had the first temple in Utah, okay? And they could see in the hospital that it was very serious. So they airlifted him to Salt Lake City in a hospital, and they made brain scans and whatever, and could see that it was far too gone that he could ever have a normal life again. So what the family decided is actually, and he was on a ventilator, that he could still breathe. So the family decided to take off the ventilator. And there was a Zoom event. Unfortunately, they had only 100 participants. They could participate. There have been 20 devotees in the hospital room and 100 devotees on the Zoom. You know, many gurus. My guru was there, Satchidananda Swami. Radhanath Swami was there. Tiraj Maharaj was there. So many Prabhupada disciples, you know. And everybody was praying, "Oh Lord, take him home. Oh Lord, take him home," you know. And when they took out the ventilator, you could see how difficult the breathing was, you know. Because when he was breathing out, the whole body would actually practically jump, you know. And we could also see that the breath was expanding. It may be 30 seconds at the beginning, 40 seconds, 1 minute. It was always getting slower and slower. And at the end, we could all see how he would leave the body, you know. Somebody from outside would say, are you crazy? Yeah? Looking at somebody leaving the body like this in such an unpleasant way. But again, it was such an atmosphere of prayers to the Lord, you know, to help this devotee leave the body and actually go back to Godhead, you know. Yeah? My wife was present there in the room because she's a good friend of his wife, and she asked her to fly over to support her. And she told me afterwards that at the end, about 40 seconds before he left, he closed his mouth, he had a big smile on his face, and tears would coming down from his eyes, you know. Huh? So that was clear the understanding, you know. Whoever, the Vishnu Dutas or Prabhupada came to pick him up, you know, for the final destination. So it was another event this week which had deep impact on me, you know. Huh? You know, normally nurses say if somebody leaves the body and the relatives are there, they always find an excuse that they go somewhere so that they can leave the body alone, you know. But here was completely the opposite, you know. Huh? We could all chant for him, and I could say only, what kind of mercy that 120 devotees are chanting for you in this most important moment in life, you know, when you actually move on, you know. Huh? And I could only say, okay, I hope one day, if I'm in the same situation, there will be some devotees who are chanting and chanting for me. So I just wanted to share a little bit with you about these moments, these weeks, you know. Okay. So I will now speak about Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva Lila, yeah? And at the end, as desired, a little bit about spiritual progress, devotional service in our life, you know. So it says in Bhagavatam, if somebody hears this Leela of Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva with attention, he will definitely go back to Godhead. Huh? What a mercy of the Lord. Huh? He says to us, if we hear this Leela, we will go back to Godhead. Of course, there is a little challenge. When it happens, it does not say. It depends on our attentiveness and, of course, on our practice. But it's so wonderful that we get these blessings, you know. So let's begin from start. You know that the Lord had a desire to fight. Huh? The Lord is the strongest of the strongest, you know. So he had a desire to fight, and he had to make an arrangement that he could have some big fights. Huh? So what happened is the four Kumaras, as children, naked, went to see Lord Vishnu. Huh? And at the door, Jaya and Vijay, if you came to New Vrindaban, you see we have in front of the temple Jaya and Vijay on both sides. They stopped the four Kumaras and said, what is this? You know, children like this naked, how they can go and see the Lord? Huh? And the four Kumaras have been so upset and angry, and started to curse Jaya and Vijay that they have to go to the mortal world, down to the planet Earth. But Lord Vishnu, of course, as he had desire for this fight, he directly appeared with Lakshmi in front of the four Kumaras and Jaya and Vijay. And he said, you know, we cannot take back the curse, you know, the curse is there, but maybe we can adjust it a little bit. So finally, after discussion, he came to the conclusion that Jaya and Vijay, they can choose if they want to be born 7 times as devotees or 3 times as demons. Huh? And of course, they had such a hankering to go back to Vaikuntha, so they choose the 3 births as demons. Huh? Huh? And actually, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha is their first birth. I will not speak about the other births, but this is the first birth where they came to the world and have been, of course, born among the demons, and lived like a demons, you know. So that was what happened. So Hiranyakashipu was very mad early on about Lord Vishnu, because at this time the planet Earth was falling into the ocean, and the planet Earth was on the bottom of the ocean. And the Lord came as Varahadev, a boar with big tusks, and would take up the earth and bring it back to the proper place. But Hiranyaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu, he did not want that this to happen. So he started a big fight with the Lord in his form as a boar. And of course, it was a roaring and the big fight described in Bhagavatam, you know. The demigods had all been there and you know, have been looking at the fight and have been doing Vedic prayers. And at the end, of course, the Lord wins, you know, naturally, because he's the strongest of the strongest. And therefore, Hiranyakashipu was so upset and so angry about the Lord that he killed his brother. That was something for his whole life he would never forget. And he always was so against Lord Vishnu. Yeah? So what would we do? He would go to the Mandara mountains and start meditation. Yeah? Meditation, he was standing on his toes. Yeah? Of course, he stopped eating, stopped drinking. He even stopped breathing. Yeah? And it says that the ants would come and eat his whole flesh. Yeah? So he was bones alone, you know. And he was actually even covered into an anthill. Yeah? But out of his head became a fire, so strong, based on his meditation. It says he was actually meditating for 1,000 celestial years, which should be about 10,000 years on this planet Earth, you know. Okay. So what happened is this fire creates such a heat in the universe, and so much smoke that the demigods went to Lord Brahma and said, "Please do something. We are suffering so much, you know. It's so hot and it's so much smoke. We will all die. Please do something." So Lord Brahma said, "Yeah, I will take care of that." So Lord Brahma appeared in front of Hiranyakashipu and said, "You know, I am very impressed by your austerities, you know, but why do you do that? What do you want?" So Hiranyakashipu said, "You know, I want that I have never to die." Okay. So Lord Brahma said, "You know, I have to die myself. How can I give you such a blessing?" But Hiranyakashipu was quite intelligent. So we say, "Okay, you give me the blessing that I will never die or be killed during day or night. I will never die or be killed inside or outside. I will never die or be killed on the ground or in the air. I will never be killed by a human being or an animal," and a number of other benedictions. And Lord Brahma said, "Yeah, I give you all these benedictions." Yeah? That was, of course, and he asked also for the 8 cities, you know, to actually be the biggest of the biggest, the smallest of the smallest, to be invisible, whatever. So Hiranyakashipu had now the full power. And from now on, he was thinking, "I'm the biggest one here in the whole universe." So he started to make trouble to the Brahmanas, everybody who was trying to actually serve Lord Vishnu, Yagyas, and so on, you know. He was taking over all the planets, and he made the demigods his servants. He was sitting on the chair, on the throne of Lord Indra, and he was commanding everybody, and constantly harassing the Brahmanas, the demigods, and of course he was drinking and doing so many things which are really improper, you know. And it went on and on, so that all the inhabitants of all the planets and Mother Earth, they have been so disturbed that they approached Lord Vishnu, you know. They prayed to Lord Vishnu and says, "Please, please, give us actually shelter. Please save us from this unbelievable demon." Okay. So what happened is Lord Vishnu said, "Yeah, I will take care of it. As soon as he's harassing his son, I will actually kill him." So everybody was at peace because they heard that Lord Vishnu will actually kill Hiranyakashipu. So what happened is that at this time, Kayadu, the wife of actually Hiranyakashipu, was pregnant. And the demigods have been thinking that, you know, another big demon will be born, you know. This will be even a bigger demon than the father. So they took the wife and brought her to another planet in the universe and wanted to wait and kill the baby right away so that they don't have to deal with another big demon. But Narada Muni appeared, and you may have heard Narada Muni is always good for a big disturbance. He creates some different events, you know. You know, when Kamsa knew, of course, before that Krishna would kill him, but when it happened, Narada Muni went to come and said, it would happen very soon, you know. So he made, or he put the Kamsa in so much anxiety, you know. And many other times he appears in a very special way. So actually he started to preach to Kayadu, the Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, and to make her peaceful, because she was so upset and distressed seeing that her husband would treat the Brahmanas and all the Vaishnavas in such a bad way, because she could feel this will not end nicely, you know, okay? But actually Prahlāda in the womb, he heard all these teachings, and he of course became a great devotee already in the womb. So when he finally came out, he was completely dedicated to Lord Vishnu. He was completely focused on devotional service, you know. So that's what happened in this time, you know. And he was already, when he came out, fearless, you know. He had great faith in the Lord. He actually had unwavering devotion to the Lord, and he was really a wonderful Vaishnava, you know. Okay. So as Hiranyakashipu took over the universe, of course, he was looking that his son would become a big king, a big demon king. So when he's a little older, he actually asked the two teachers actually that they would teach Prahlāda all what was needed to become a big demon king, you know, economics and politics and warfare and all material activities, including, of course, sense gratification and whatever, you know. But when one day, actually, Prahlāda was coming to the chamber of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu put actually Prahlāda on his lap and said, okay, what did you learn at school? And he was expecting that he would like all these these demon activities. But he said, no, you know, the most important thing in life is devotional service, you know. And the most important topic is to realize Lord Vishnu and to know that we are here to serve him, you know. And Hiranyakashipu could not understand what's going on. So he called right away the teachers and said, what are you teaching my son? They said, no, we did not teach him anything like this, you know. We teach him the standard topics, you know. You ask us to teach him. So they could not understand why would Prahlāda actually say even something like this. Because when he was at school, he was completely meditating on the Lord. He was looking like dull. He was not to say anything because he was just meditating on the Lord. He was not at all interested in any subjects. His teachers would actually teach the students, you know. So he was there with a group of other, of course, demon children, and they have been all taught what they saw, the teachers, what has to be taught to actually people actually in this demon kingdom, you know. So what Hiranyakashipu said, you know, you untrain this to him, you know, and you teach him what they ask you to do. So the teachers, Sanda Amarka, they went back and tried to teach actually Prahlāda Mahārāja this demonic activities, you know. But they could see that no success, so they started to actually treat him unnicely, you know, smash him and so on, whatever. But Prahlāda Mahārāja was completely aloof because he was completely meditating on the Lord and he was fearless. Whatever happened, he had no problem. So it happened the second time that after some time, Prahlāda came back to Hiranyakashipu and he was offering obeisances, touching the lotus, the feet of Lord of the King Hiranyakashipu, and he was again touched by the attitude of his son. You know, he took him again off the lap, you know, and asked the same question, and he got the same message again: Vishnu, approaching Vishnu, realizing Vishnu, devotional service, dedicating our life, not actually indulging in sense gratification. That's the most important part in life, you know. So Hiranyakashipu could just not handle it anymore. He got so upset and so angry. He smashed Prahlāda to the floor, and he said, you know, this son of a demon king, he is completely unacceptable. He is the friend of Vishnu. He is worshipping Vishnu. He has no space in our kingdom. He has to be killed. And he instructed his servants actually to kill actually Prahlāda Mahārāja, And it's a great number of different ways, Bhagavatam says. He tried to kill him. He started with poisonous food, but nothing happened, He throw him in actually a pit with poisonous snakes. The snakes will not do anything. So throw him under an elephant. The elephant will trample him. The elephant, of course, would not do anything to a Vaishnava, They tried to starve him to death. Nothing happened, They said, okay, and on the biggest hill, go on top of the hill, throw him from the hill. But the Lord would invisibly, before he was smashed in the ground, take him and put him in the ground, They used illusory tricks, They exposed him to severe cold, to severe heat, to fire, to water. They throw stones on him. Nothing had an impact on actually Prahlāda. So Hiranyakashipu could understand more and more. He's really a danger for our kingdom. He will change our kingdom by seeing him. Most probably he's immortal, He's so fearlessness, and he controls his mind. He controls his senses, He has so much strength, so there is only one way. He has to be killed, And of course, Prahlāda was preaching to him again, and say, the Lord is everywhere, and he sees whatever you do, You better change your life, So he preached to his father again. So the father said, is your Lord also on this pillar? And Prahlāda said, yeah, for sure, the Lord is in this pillar. So Hiranyakashipu takes his sword and said, now I kill you myself. And if your Lord is really there, he comes out of the pillar. So in a big roar, the pillar will break apart, and the Lord came out on this form, half lion, half man, Hiranyakashipu could not understand, what is this, He was completely thrown away, What is this form? But of course, he got back, and he started to fight the Lord, He tried to smash on his chest, but, the Lord was not impacted by anything like this. And there was a big fight, going back and forth and back and forth. So finally, as we know, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu under the doorstep on his lap. It was at dawn. It was not day and night. It was not on the ground and not in the air. He was not a human being, and he was not actually an animal. And so many other actually blessings have been fulfilled. So, and the Lord was so angry. He used his fingernails to rip off, sorry for the children, the body of the Lord, He took out his heart and his intestines and put around his neck, He was so angry. How he could actually treat his pure devotee, Prahlāda, like this, So that's what happened, But then the big topic was that the Lord was so angry. His eyes had been so red, and he was fuming of anger. What would go on? So the demigods have been there. They have been seeing all this, So they said to Lord Brahma, please go and pacify the Lord. Lord Brahma said, no, I cannot do that. He said to Lord Indra, you should go. You're the king of heaven. Lord Indra said, no. Impossible, I cannot do that. So then they asked Lakshmi. Lakshmi was always on the chest of Lord Vishnu and said, you should go. And Lakshmi also said, no, I cannot handle this situation. So finally they asked Prahlāda Mahārāja. And Prahlāda went there. He was paying obeisances to the Lord in a very peaceful manner. And the Lord was so taken by the affection, he directly put him on his lap. He put his hand on his head. He got complete spiritual realization. And Prahlāda started to praise the Lord in prayers, He praised him, of course, as the one who creates everything, the controller of everything, and so many other wonderful prayers Prahlāda actually did. So at the end, after all these prayers, the Lord said, what kind of blessing do you want from me? And Prahlāda said, I don't want any blessing, But the Lord said, no, I have to give you a blessing. Please tell me what you want, He said, I don't want anything. I don't want a kingdom. I don't want any sense gratification. I don't want. So the Lord insisted that he actually express really what he wants, So he said, I always want to be devoted to you, I want to never forget you, I always want to be fixed in devotion to you. And I don't want to be unaffected by any material things like envy, pride, and anger, and so on, So the benediction then was that, Lord Vishnu said, Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva said, you will always be happy in this life, and in the next life in Vaikuntha. You come back to me, You will be the king of this material world, but you will be completely unaffected. You will use everything to glorify myself, And you will completely depend on me, And your devotional service will be without any contamination, You will perform bhakti yoga as your service as the king of this planet, So then what happened is that Prahlāda said, but I have one desire. He said, please free my father, deliver my father. And the Lord said, it's already done. But I did not only deliver your father, I delivered 21 generations before of your forefathers, of your family. So that was the Lord's mercy and the Lord's compassion. And that's what we all understand. If we are able to go back to Godhead, we will not only go back to Godhead ourselves. 21 generations of our forefathers will also join us in this thing. So it's the mercy of the Lord which is so unbelievable. But at the same time, the Lord asked him to actually perform the ritualistic ceremonies for his father. So what he said in the Vedas, that we should take care of our father, of our ancestors, the Lord asked Prahlāda Mahārāja to do that, So when we hear this lila, it's a glorification of the Lord, and it's a glorification of Prahlāda, Glorification of the Lord because he is protecting the devotees, which is so nice for us to hear. He is protecting us, okay? That does not mean we don't have challenges in life, because the challenges in life are coming that we make progress to come closer to Krishna. But he is protecting us, And you may have some experience where you feel, you had practically a crash with a car or whatever, where something mystical happened that you have been protected, So this is what actually the Lord protects his devotees. But it's not only in this lila. We can hear, of course, in the Battle of Kurukshetra, So what actually happened is that when Jayarata was killing Abhimanyu, the son of actually Arjuna, Arjuna said, tomorrow, if I don't kill Jayarata, I will kill myself. Okay? So the next day, as Duryodhana, you knew that, the next day, the only thing was to protect Jayarata, have him far in the back, all the soldiers in front, because he said, we will not let this happen. So Arjuna has to kill himself, because we know he's an honorable Kshatriya. He will do that. And Arjuna, end of the day, he could not do it. So Krishna, protecting Arjuna, he was doing a trick. He let the sun go down, that everybody was thinking the day is over, and now the end of fighting, and we hear that, they went all to their tents and even had talks among themselves, both sides in the evening. And Arjuna was even going further, and suddenly the sun came up again. And in this way, he could actually approach Jayarata and kill him. So this is one way actually it happened there. The second part, it was Drona was so powerful. In one day, he was killing soldiers of the Pandavas like anything. And Krishna could understand, if this is going on, the Pandavas will be gone, So he was telling to Yudhishthira Maharaj, you have to tell him Ashwatthama is dead. Ashwatthama was the son of Drona. He was so affectionate to his son. But actually Ashwatthama, the elephant, was dead. So Yudhishthira had to shout out, Ashwatthama is dead. And Drona directly stopped fighting because he thought his son is dead. And so again, Krishna was protecting his devotees, the Pandavas, And Yudhishthira Maharaj, as he was Dharma himself, the whole life, he always had been thinking that he actually told a lie, because he was so following Dharma that it was such a big thing. And there is a third one. One night, actually, Duryodhana was actually chastising Bhishma, the grandfather Bhishma, said, "You don't want that these Pandavas are killed. You don't want me to win the war, you know. How is this, you know? You're on my side. You have to do. I know you have the power to do that." Okay? So it was clear that Bhishma, the next day, he promised that he would do everything to kill the Pandavas. And he had 5 arrows with high potency, which nobody could actually go against, you know. So he wanted to use these 5 arrows the next day. Krishna, knowing that this would happen, to protect the Pandavas, he went to Arjuna and said, "You know, Duryodhana has given you once a boon. You did not use the boon. So I ask you to go to Duryodhana and you ask for the 5 arrows. And Arjuna was doing that. Again, he was protecting his devotees. So not only for Prahlāda Mahārāja, in many other cases, the Lord is protecting devotees, which is so nice for us to know that he is there for us. He is present everywhere, as we hear in the pillar. He's present everywhere, but he will actually protect us. So that's, of course, a big glory of the Lord, you know, how the Lord is so compassionate to us. He's so merciful to us. And when we give any sign that we want to come closer to him, he's protecting us from the worst sin. On the other hand, of course, it's a big glorification of Prahlāda. You know, he was such exceptional devotee, you know. Therefore, he's one of the 12 Mahatmas, you know. So he was completely qualified Brahmana, excellent character, you know. And he was determined to understand the absolute truth, to understand the Lord, you know, himself, you know. He was full in control of his senses and his mind, you know. And but he was quite kind to every living entity. He was like the best friend of every living entity. To the poor, he was like a father. To the actually the respectable person, he was the menial servant, you know. And his equals, he was like a brother, you know. And he was completely free of pride. He was completely free of envy. And he had no intent for any sense gratification, you know. And he was, of course, based on his fearlessness, never agitated by any danger. As we heard, you know, whatever they did with him, he was not disturbed, you know. So there are many other qualities of Prahlāda, you know. So he's such a wonderful devotee, and therefore he is, of course, to be worshipped by us, to be praised by us in so many ways. So again, as I said at the beginning, when we hear Bhagavatam says, when we hear this Leela with great attention, you know, actually protecting Prahlāda, killing Hiranyakashipu by Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva, we can reach the spiritual world, you know. There is no anxiety. So what is our learning of this Leela? The Lord keeps his promise. The Lord promises in Bhagavad Gita, he comes to protect the devotees and to smash the demons. So he keeps his promise, you know. Also, from Prahlāda, it's devotional service is the only path actually to reach the Lord, you know, and to go back to the Lord's abode, you know. The Lord is compassionate and the well-wisher of everybody. And also birth is not defining their success in life. Prahlāda was born in a demon family. Haridas Thakur, the biggest chanter, who has given us such a wonderful example in chanting the holy name. He was born in a Muslim family. And of course, Prahlāda is somehow our role model. He has such an extraordinary character. We can only desire to make steps towards his qualities. So I think that's the learning we can see, you know. And of course, they are also connected to the question I had at the beginning. By hearing this Leela, 2 things are important. One is our attitude. So we have the attitude to hear it. We have the attitude to hear about the Lord. We have the attitude to hear about Prahlāda. We have the attitude to see these different learnings in this Leela. And the other one is, of course, sincerity. Srila Prabhupada says so many times in his purports, sincerity. So he wants that we are sincere in our devotional practice. So that's the summary for me of the lila of Prahlāda Mahārāja and of course Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva. And we are so happy. I would say that we can sing these prayers every day. So switching to how to make some progress in spiritual life, I think the most important is two things: to have a plan and to know where we are at, okay, and to start the morning with something spiritual. What about the plan? Okay, we know that we are the soul and not this body. We don't belong to the spiritual world where there's so much suffering. Even if we think that a little less suffering is happiness, that's not our place. It's not a place for gentlemen, Srila Prabhupada says, and gentle ladies. It's their own place, So at the same time, when we have the goal to go back to Godhead, to get out of this cycle of birth and death, we need to know where we are at. Wherever we are at, just to know where we are at, because then we can be practical, And we know that we don't want to pretend that we are making big steps forward, because that will not function. Devotional service is a step-by-step process. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada says you can take the elevator. You can actually take the elevator. So if we have the mercy and actually do the right practice, we can, of course, expedite our process. But nevertheless, we have to know where we are at, and we have to define our activities that we actually move forward. But it starts with the morning when we wake up, What are we thinking about, It's important that in the morning when we wake up, we make an intent for the day. And it can be a prayer, or it can just be a thought, okay? Whatever I do today, I do as an offering to the Lord. Of course, through my Guru or through the Prabhupada. But I want to do this an offering. Because such an intent gives us a foundation for the whole day. And whatever we are able to do, if we are chanting half a round, or 1 round, or 4 rounds, or 16 rounds, whatever, it's of course wonderful to do some spiritual practice in addition, or reading something, or hearing Kirtan, hearing a class, whatever we can do, whatever fits into our schedule. We know ladies, mothers with newborn babies, they are busy the whole day, they cannot do actually much, but their service is to take care of the baby. That's their spiritual, that's their devotional service, if it's in the right mood, if we had set this goal, So the topic is, see our goal, see where we are, and we find something we want to do every day, because it needs sincerity, regular practice, actually to move forward. And in the morning we set the attitude. For the ones who are practicing for a while, we know that this process is functioning. Why do we know that? For me, it's as more grateful I can be, I can understand, I'm more purified, and I can be more grateful for the Lord's arrangement. But it can be less attraction to the opposite sex. We can be less envy. We can be less angry, less proud. There are so many things we can see that actually we are making progress. And that's important for us because, we have for sure doubts. Which are correct to have doubts, This is really functioning. This is the right path. Why I'm doing that? It's not always pleasant, why all this and that, whatever. But when we experience ourselves that purification is happening, like Srila Prabhupada says, the dust on the mirror is cleansed off, then we can understand that the process is functioning, which gives us a big motivation to continue, to be actually sincere, and to our practice whatever we can do. So I think that's important that we experience. And nevertheless, as I said before, it's not that everything will be floating on a cloud and we just go back to Godhead. That's not the way normally it happens, We know when you are joining, normally Krishna gives you a big push. everything is great and you want to preach to everybody, you know, and you have such a need to share with everybody, and you're this frustrated because they don't want to hear it, you know. But after some time, this initial push is going away. We are actually challenged by the Lord. Do you really want to do that? You really want to come closer to me? Is this really what you want? So then practice with sincerity. So we are having this first test, you know. If you overcome this first test, it goes slowly forward. Some people after the first test, they just leave because they thought, you know, that this cloud number 7 or whatever we call it, that's the reality in Krishna consciousness. It's all just wonderful. But that's not the case, because we have to work on us. We have to cleanse ourselves. You know? And then this devotee from the Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education says, you know, it goes really straightforward, but then it comes the biggest test, another big test, you know, later in life. You really want to come to me? You know, Krishna puts of course, some other tests. And of course, different things in the day come to us to see, oh, why are you getting angry? Or why are you envy of these people? Or why this or whatever? So the tests are always there. And unfortunately, we need them, you know. We need them because otherwise, when everything is fine, we think, oh, I'm in charge here, I'm the controller, I can do whatever I want, you know. So therefore, Krishna sends us, by his mercy, some tests. But he sends never tests we cannot overcome. Yeah? He always gives us support, you know. And at this test, most important is to pray. Prayers are so strong. Yeah? They are so helpful. So if we feel that something is coming our way, we have to pray to the Lord, or to the Prabhupada, whatever, our Guru, that, you know, please, I don't think I can handle this. I really need your help, you know. Normally we underestimate the strength of prayers. You know? Prayers are really important, you know, that we do some prayers and actually ask for help, ask for mercy, because it's there. We just have to ask. Krishna is in front of us. He's in our heart. If he really sees that we actually turn towards him, he will give us the strength. He will give us the intelligence to overcome whatever comes to our way. So my personal practice is that I actually chant Nṛsiṁhadeva prayers directly in the morning, to actually glorify the Lord and be sure, again, the Lord will protect me. He will help me, whatever faces me today in life. And of course, we offer obeisances to the Guru, to the Lord, in the morning, as we are asked to do that. You know? But that's my experience, that the process functions. We need the right attitude in the morning, which helps us to go through the day, and we need some sincerity, whatever practice we can do. The easiest way, of course, is to say, whatever Krishna I do today, I am doing it offering to you. So that's the easiest way. Do we have any questions, comments, corrections?
Prabhuji, I was under the impression that Bhagavatam happened after Nṛsiṁhadeva appeared. As you were saying that Narad Muni, he explained, I think he was telling Bhagavatam to the Prahlād's mother. Is this right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, Narada Muni is, of course, completely connected to the Lord, you know. He always understands the situation, okay? What is the Lord's lila, what is the Lord's intent, whatever, okay? So he was, of course, merciful to Kayadu, the wife, because she was so in distress, and he could see that she could understand that this will not end nicely, because he's so against Lord Vishnu, he is so against the Brahmanas, the Vaishnavas, that will not end nice. So she was in big distress. So he was preaching to her to give her peace and a better understanding of the philosophy, okay? But as Prahlāda was in the womb, he heard all this preaching. So that was his complete change, so therefore, he completely became the biggest Vaishnava, okay. And we hear that, we're just reading in New Vrindaban, Canto 3, actually, Kapila Dev to Mother Devahuti, okay. And it's such a long part of Canto 3, For the moment, we are just reading what happens, how happens actually when a soul incarnates, what happens in the first day, in the first 7 days, and when really the baby has consciousness, month number 7, okay? He gets consciousness, And he's in this small room, It says worms are there and they're attacking his skin, and he's so suffering, And he actually directs himself towards the Lord. Please, Lord, help me out of this situation. I'm dedicated to you, So that's what's happening in the womb. And therefore, we also know that based on Prahlāda's example, it's so important what the ladies do, of course, with support of the father, when they're pregnant, because they can make such a difference. Because hearing kirtan, doing prayers, doing reading, the baby hears everything. And this changes the consciousness of the baby. That's what happened with Prahlāda, And for us, it's an example that, But unfortunately, it says all the babies, they go towards the Lord after the 7th month. But when we come out, we're completely covered. And we forget it, under normal ways. Prahlāda was so exalted that he was a Vaishnava right away when he took birth. But in our case, we are so covered from our previous lives that we forget it. And it takes, for most of us, quite some time before we come to the realization through mercy. Because we have some punya, otherwise we will not come to Krishna consciousness. Of course, it's so nice to see your children, They're part of the celebration of this Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva's appearance day. They are part of the kirtan. They're part of when you play Srila Prabhupada at home. They're part of when you read whatever. So they are, of course, getting the whole boost to become a Vaishnava so much earlier. And parents, Srila Prabhupada said the first 5 years are the most important in the life of a child. Because the first 5 years will have a big impact. Then there is a second part until 12, but after 12 you don't have an impact anymore. Everything is already formed and the consciousness is there. Then they completely go on their own, the senses are so increased, and they go their own way. But if we have a nice foundation in the womb already, and in the first years, that really helps, And maybe another topic, we had this Vaishnavi coming to New Vrindaban some years ago and preaching, So she said, samskaras before conceiving are so important. We should chant 54 rounds before conceiving and have the right consciousness, She preached to us and said, you have to create a consciousness that you actually attract higher level souls. Because the souls who incarnate, they come on the level of the consciousness the parents have. Okay? She said, you can attract so high level souls, they will change the world. A single soul can change the world. So it was so, what can I say, so astonishing and so impactful, her preaching to us, that it's so important that we do these samskaras properly and are in the right consciousness when we conceive, that actually we attract the right level of souls who can have then a big impact on ourselves because they are on another level. They will help us to become more Krishna conscious, but they can have an impact to the whole world.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. First of all, we all are blessed to have you here, and so wonderful to hear Krishna's pastimes. So my question is on Nṛsiṁhadeva pastime, what you have told. So Hiranyakashipu, who got benediction based on his condition from Brahma that he couldn't die, right? And after getting benediction, he started troubling all the demigods on everybody, and he might be killing as well, some of them. So, like when demigods started praying to God to save all of us and everybody on this planet, Nṛsiṁhadeva didn't come. When Prahlāda Mahārāja was attempted to get killed and in trouble, that God came. So my question is that demigods are also devotees of God. So why God just he did hear about Prahlāda Mahārāja and not other devotees? I mean, it could be a bit silly question, but just wanted to clarify.
If I properly understood, why would the Lord protect Prahlāda but not the others?
Yeah.
Is that the question? Okay.
Like all other demigods, because they are also close to God.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I forgot to say that Nṛsiṁhadeva told Brahma, never give this kind of blessings to demons anymore. Huh? Because Brahma created all this mess. Huh? Of course, the Lord had a bigger plan. At the same time, he was actually telling Brahma, never again give blessing like this to a demon. Huh? So that was the topic, of course. We have to understand it's all a bigger lila. Okay. Huh? So the Lord wants to have the fight. So he led, of course, Hiranyakashipu become such a strong man, a strong demon, because that was part of his intent to fight, okay? At the same time, also, for all the demigods and the others, it was a big test. Do you really believe in God? Do you really are surrendered to me? Are you attracted to me? Are you actually, do you have faith in me that I will take care of this, So for them, it's more a big test that they don't say, no, God cannot handle this, We don't pray to the Lord anymore, We will die, that's okay, But no, it's a test that what happened, that all of them started to pray to the Lord, knowing that they have their faith that only the Lord can handle this. So it was a big test for them. So indirectly, of course, he protected also them because he took care of the demon. He took care of Hiranyakashipu. But before, he put them under a big test, under a big stress, so that they really focus themselves on the Lord and actually have been praying to the Lord and focused all on the Lord. Said, Lord, we need help. We cannot go on like this, It will kill us. It's unbearable. So please help us. So that was their part, So the help that they actually come closer to Krishna through this experience, And that's what the Lord is trying to do us with these little challenges he gives to us, We lose family members, we have this and that, we have health challenges, we have so many other challenges in life. So they are there that, okay, we focus on the Lord, because at the end of the day we know no insurance policy will help us, because that's not what is helping us to come closer to the Lord. So we need these prayers and our direction to the Lord. But important, he said to Brahma, don't give this kind of benedictions to demons anywhere in the future,
Any other question? Anybody? So Prabhuji, thanks for such a wonderful class, and we were completely absorbed.
Thank you.
I also have 2 questions.
So the demons are doing the penance for so long. Why couldn't demons are equally doing the same devotion as the other people when they want to wish? Why like I don't know. Why aren't they allowed to get wishes? They're having the same devotion as the other people.
So the question is, how demons have not the same devotion? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You know, the big question is already starting. Why are there demons? Huh? Huh? Because you know, of course, many they don't want to surrender. They want to be in charge themselves. They want to lord it over. They want to be in control, whatever. Okay, so the Lord allows them to actually be demons, and actually go to this experience. You know, that even if they are demons, they're always losing. The Lord makes sure that they always lose. Even in between, when they take over the demigods, at the end they lose. You know, okay. And the topic is, of course, that by association, by also seeing the Lord, you know, they have seen the Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva, you know, and slowly they change, you know, okay? And there is a way for them that they make progress and also switch like Prahlāda was switching, you know. So the Lord gives them also a chance, but the Lord allows these two topics, you know, the Vaishnavas, the devotees, and the demons, you know. And Srila Prabhupada said many times when something happened, you know, somebody was breaking in or was making a bad article or whatever, Srila Prabhupada said, you know, we are becoming more important, so the demons are also becoming stronger. Okay? And it's at the same time a test for us that we stand up against the demons, you know. So that's happening. But we know that Lord Chaitanya came and said, you know, all living entities in this universe will be actually going back to water. It's just a question of time, you know. Okay? So that will happen. And you have to know that we had this Prabhupada disciple in New Vrindaban. He always asked, how many living beings are in New Vrindaban? So we said 300 devotees. He said, okay. What about the cows? 73 cows. Okay. Said, yeah, what about the roses at the rose garden? The roses. What about the trees? What about the grass? So there are endless living entities in this universe. Just even in a small place like New Vrindaban, we cannot count them. There are so many. Okay? And then we know there are endless living entities in the universe. But it says there are millions of universes. Okay? So you can imagine how unbelievable is the spiritual world, how unbelievable is the Lord, you know, that he has a plan for all of them. He's connected to each one of them. Everywhere there is a soul, you know. And as Prahlāda said, he's in the pillar, he's everywhere, you know. So the Lord is inconceivable. His whole creation and his whole setup is unbelievable. We cannot understand that, you know. And you have to think about how big is the spiritual world that they all have placed there. It's, how big has to be the spiritual world that all these living entities have a place there, and that they can do some service for the Lord at the same time. So it's inconceivable. But the Lord wants everybody there. He is so much hankering for us to have us back. I don't know who of you have been reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, Gopa Kumar. Gopa Kumar, actually a Gopa from Vrindavan. The Lord had such a hankering for him to come back to the spiritual world. He came himself as his guru, and he taught him the Gopal mantra. But then he was going to the Ganges, and he found some brahmanas, sadhus. They have been worshipping Shilas. But then he heard about this wonderful kingdom where there is such an opulent worship. He went there. He became the king. And he was distracted, and he did not want to be the king anymore. So he went to Puri. He became the king of Puri. The Lord appeared again with him and reminded him he should chant his mantra, you know. And it goes on and on. He was traveling the whole universe. He became Lord Brahma. He became Lord Indra. He became Lord Brahma. And always again, he was somehow forgetting and being pulled away, you know. He finally arrived in Vaikuntha in his Gopa dress. the Lord was so happy to see him, you know. And then in Vaikuntha, everybody looks like the Lord. They told him, yeah, you know, you should also change your body. You should dress you differently. But Gopa Kumar said, no, 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 no. I'm a Gopa, you know. Yeah? So, long story short, at the end, Radharani sent him another Brahmana to actually imbibe him that he should go back to Godhead and he should actually chant seriously his mantra. Yeah? And finally he arrived. Krishna came back from the cow herding at night in the evening. He ran towards Gopa Kumar. He was embracing him. He was becoming unconscious. All the Gopas were thinking, this is a demon. Huh? But Balaram said, no, 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 it's all fine, it's all fine. So, and Krishna, when he became conscious, I waited so long for you. Why did you let me wait so long, you know? And that's not only for the devotees, it's also for the demons. He wants everybody back home. Yeah? Okay, thank you. Huh?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, you said that, as Prabhupada said, when demons are getting stronger, we need to do more worship. So, if someone is in devotional service and people started opposing it, what does that mean? Is the devotee doing good, or he has to do more so that he can defeat their enemies?
It's a very good question because it really tests ourselves. Okay, you know. I have these tests regularly, you know. Do I hate now this person, this devotee, if he's criticizing me and making havoc? Or do I understand this? This is a test of the Lord. Okay. How much peace do I have? And how much compassion do I have, you know? And can I see this as a test? And I think that's the test for all of us in daily life, you know? Because there are always two sides, you know? Padre Maharaj said always, every pancake has two sides. In understanding that, you know, you can see the pancake from this side, you have this perspective. You can see the pancake from this side, you have another perspective. And normally it does not match. And then it creates this havoc among relationships, among outsiders and us, karmis and devotees, you know what I mean. So important is to understand that actually hate is not the right approach, okay? You have to understand this may be a big test for us, you know. The best is maybe to pray. Nevertheless, sometimes we have to stand up for the truth. We have to stand up for the truth, but we hear that Vaishnavas should speak, I'm missing the word, gracefully. All our words should actually represent actually our philosophy, so that it should be spoken nicely, but we have to stand up. We have to stand up. And you could see Srila Prabhupada in Juhu, when he was fighting for the land, how he would stand up and fight, you know. But he would still respect them, but he knew he's a demon, you know. And he was so happy when finally he was killed. He said, Hiranyakashipu killed him. Nṛsiṁhadeva killed him, you know. But it's a good question, and we can experience this many times in our life. Because life is not always going the way we would like it's going. And these are the tests, okay, what do we do now? You know? And we might fail, and we may fail, but the important is to learn, okay? And next time, we become a little less upset, become a little less whatever. Okay, thank you for the question.
Thanks, Prabhuji. As I said, I have maybe now one question only, not two. So, like, Prahlāda Mahārāja also heard Śrīmad Bhagavatam in the womb of his mom, his mother.
Yeah. And
Kyadu also heard that, right? So it worked for Prahlāda Mahārāja even though he was a kid. Means consciousness was not so developed. Whereas it didn't work for Kayadhu as the way it worked for Prahlāda Mahārāja. So with what consciousness we should come here, with what consciousness we should hear, with what attitude we should hear Krishna Katha and Vaishnava Seva, so that it works like it worked for Prahlāda Mahārāja, not like Dhritarashtra also heard that, but it didn't work for him. So how to avoid those things, you know, I am putting effort, how can I make sure that, okay, it will work? So what should I do?
you know, it's clear that, and I speak for myself, sometimes we are so covered that it takes a while before it really appears, you know, okay? It's okay, it's okay. Sometimes we are so covered that, you know, I remember myself coming to Krishna consciousness. I said, the world is great, what's happening? I don't see the suffering, you know? So I was so covered that I needed some time before I could understand what Srila Prabhupada said. You know, this is a place of suffering. If you have a little less suffering, you think you're happy, but that's not the reality. Okay, so the topic is that we may at different stages, you know. Okay, but the main topic is always coming back to attitude and sincerity. Okay, so when we come to a program or we go to the temple, when we have the right attitude and we need some purity already, we can understand this is a big blessing that I can come and hear actually a lila. This is a big blessing that I can hear a lecture. This is a big blessing that I can participate in Kirtan. And this is a big blessing that I can eat prasad afterwards, you know. So it's the attitude topic, you know, okay? And the other topic is sincerity, okay? You know, I took out my phone to increase my hearing. It's not about something else, just to say. But, you know, you can be in class and you can actually be on Facebook and scroll, you know. That means you're not sincere. You are not taking opportunity of the offering you are getting at the right moment, you know. When you are at the temple or you are at an event like this, whatever, or you hear a class, you know. You can play Srila Prabhupada, but you can completely indulge in something different. Of course, it's good to have in the background Srila Prabhupada chanting or Srila Prabhupada giving you a class. It has always an effect. But it has not the full effect if we are not sincere at the moment, you know. And we all know, our mind, at least I speak for myself, mind is so strong. The mind tries to find so many ways to pull us away. And the only thing is, okay, be attentive that the mind pulls us away and bring him back. And it will happen again. But over time, it becomes easier, you know. We heard from Prahlāda, he was completely controlling his senses and completely controlling his mind. I cannot tell this for myself, but I'm trying every morning. I go to the temple, I pray to the six Goswamis and say, help me to control my mind better, okay? Because it's a big topic, you know. We are spending 2 hours to chant. If our mind is pulling us away and we're thinking about 1,000 other things, what is the effect of the 2 hours? It's just a loss of time. It has some basic effect, but it does not have the effect it could have, you know. So again, attitude, sincerity. For me, these are the two important topics, so that we can make the progress as we can, you know. And please, you know, I fail, most of you will fail. It's okay. Just pick ourselves up and say, okay, I do better tomorrow, you know. That's what's expected, you know. It's not that we have to scratch our head and blame ourselves the whole day that my chanting was not good this morning. That will not help, you know. It's okay. I failed. I know that I try tomorrow to do better. I do another prayer in front of my chanting so that I can focus more.
Thanks, bro. Thanks a lot.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I have 3 questions.
Wow.
But in the interest of time,
This is a
I'll ask.
never-ending program.
Yes, but in the interest of time, let me ask just one.
No, please. Okay. I'm joking.
Okay. So the first question is, like, why Krishna has to tell lies about Ashwatthama? Like, when we are telling the stories of Krishna's to someone, so then we are taking Krishna's instruction as like moral principles. But at the same point of a time, he has to do something unlawful. So that is very difficult to digest.
You know, the highest thing for Krishna is to protect his devotees. Okay? And sometimes he has to deviate to find a way to do that. Okay? So it's for him more important to, you know, we have also to say, there are different incarnations, okay? Lord Ram was completely Dharma, okay? So his mood was completely dharma from beginning to the end, you know. He was even letting Sita going through the fire to follow dharma because somebody was questioning her, okay? So in different incarnations, the Lord has different moods, okay? So in the mood of Ram, it was dharma, complete dharma. Yudhishthira in general was complete dharma, okay? But in Krishna's incarnation, it's something different. It's protecting devotees, what he says in Bhagavad Gita, okay? So thus it is highest principle. And therefore, the moral approach from sometimes he has to switch a little bit that he can fulfill his highest intent, you know, okay? And then, you know, you come to Lord Chaitanya. He is the most merciful Lord, the most compassionate Lord. He's completely come in another mood again, you know, okay? He really opened the storehouse of love. We can, all of us, we can come to pure love of Krishna. And that was not possible before. But Lord Chaitanya gives us all this mercy. And in every town and village, it will be there. He just allows us to be the instruments a little bit, you know. And if we don't progress quick enough, it's up to us. It's not to the Lord, because it will happen. And he wants to go everybody back to Godhead. So it's a complete other mood. So we have to understand the different incarnations and the different moods. And also, Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva, he has another mood when he appears. Okay? He's still the Lord himself. He has the full potency. But he has a special mood when he appears. You know,
I'll ask my second question, Prabhu. So in the pastime of Jaya and Vijay, so we have heard like they have chosen the option as the demons, but is there also a version in which they have chosen as 7 lives of devotees?
No, they really chose that, this three demons life, you know. So you know, they come again and actually are demons again and again, you know. They say, some say even, I don't know how Shastric it is, they came 4 times because Jaga and Madai was their other life, you know, and they became then devotees in this life, you know, because important there is that they repented. They repented what they have done, and then they did menial service. You know, was it Jaya or Vicha? Jaga and Madai, and it was Jaga. He was at the ghat at the Ganges and was cleaning the ghat for the sadhus to come. You know, that was his, but he was repenting. You know, okay. When the Lord kills the demons, there is no repentance before. Okay? They just kill because they want to fight, they want to be right, they want to be the stronger, you know. But in Jaga and Madai, it's different, you know. So therefore, it's the way it is. You know?
And just one last question, Prabhu. So this is like little material question. So sometimes in life, like we are quite in the comfort zone and everything is going good, and we just do not plan for some unplanned things. But all of a sudden, like some unplanned things happen. Then we just ponder over and then think like, oh, why this has happened? Like everything I was doing, I was also like doing the devotional service while doing those activities. But all of a sudden, like things are not going good, and like all of a sudden, the things have shattered. So sometimes it's very difficult to understand, and like at that point of a time, that certain thing which was a cause of happiness, it has certainly become a cause of like disappointments and regrets. So it just becomes very difficult to understand.
I completely follow what you say, you know. You know, it's just to share from my life. I lost my son and wife in accidents. Okay, so sometimes we have to go through challenges which are unbelievable. At the same time, this was the reason I finally became a devotee. He's 50. When I was 50 years old, I joined the movement, and this was the reason I finally joined. You know? Okay, so you know, there is always a reason behind, because the Lord controls everything. Okay, so He lets it happen for a reason, and He's not in a bad mood. He does not want to do bad to us. You know, He has a big plan, and He has let something happen to us. You know. And for us, it's a big test, you know. how do I handle this, And what I said before, the best thing is prayers. We may be completely lost in the moment, or for months, or for years, but the best thing is prayers. Pray to the Lord, You have some reasons to allow this to happen. Please help me, Please help me. And it's a big test of faith. How much faith do we have in the Lord, Because at these moments, if we turn to the Lord and say, yeah, I have some faith. I'm tested at this critical time in my life, If I don't have faith, I do hundreds of other things, But if I have a little faith, I'm allowed, or I'm encouraged to actually, go towards the Lord and hopefully do some prayers, and I will come, And I said before, the Lord gives us nothing we cannot handle. It may be very difficult, but He is not looking that we are drowning in this suffering. That's not His attempt, He just wants us closer to Him, Okay? And we hear, one step is 100 steps on His side, It's not that He is not so hankering to have us back, And that the big thing is that sometimes in seminars we do this meditation. The Lord loves me. It's sometimes difficult to understand that the Lord is loving me. He loves all of us so much. But when these challenges come, it's difficult for us. Is the Lord really loving me? What's going on here? But He will help us. And coming back again, what I said before, the process functions. The process functions. That does not mean that challenges may not be even stronger, but the process functions, and it helps us more to direct ourselves towards the Lord. Okay. Thank you for the question.
So thanks, Prabhu. Thanks for such a wonderful realization as well, and Krishna Katha, Nṛsiṁha Katha as well. We are so fortunate, blessed today you are here and we are hearing from you. So
Please.
Let's do 3 times.
I'm just a neophyte. I'm just the biggest neophyte. So
Oh.
please understand that. Okay.
So let's pass our gratitude by saying Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And one more thing I wanted to share. Prabhu touched one event. Agnidev Prabhu is not with us. And one thing I would like to tell you, you all know him indirectly. Anybody can guess? How do you know? You all know him indirectly. Huh? We normally sing his tone at our center every time, most of the times. So Jaya Govinda, Jaya Gopal, normally sing. That is from him. He is saying, and we copied that tone and we sing here. So not lyrics I'm saying, but the tone actually, tone. So that's we always. So we'll do today also. That is our little pray for him, and that we should do that. So our arti today, we'll sing that as well. In continuation of Gaur Arti, when we'll do pushpa offering, at that time we'll sing that. We'll try our best and we'll pray for him.